Welcome to another episode of Millennial versus Machine. I'm your favorite real estate broker, Courtney King, in the building. We're in season 6. This is actually episode 69. Okay. And I'm really excited. If you are tuning in on audio only, just know I'm here on video as well over in the YouTube sphere. So make sure you take a look at Millennial versus Machine on YouTube, subscribe, like. I will be cutting some of these episodes into different shorts. So for those on YouTube, if you see me looking down, it's because I'm looking at my notes here. Um, you know, to kick off this season, I really want to talk about just the foundation upon which we build our careers as real estate professionals. Okay. So where my mind goes is if you are a Texas real estate broker or agent, or heck, if you're a Texas homeowner, then you know what I'm talking about here. One of the things that's very prevalent in Texas is foundation repair, right? No matter if it's a brand new home that, maybe has had, a lot of pooling water, or just maybe it was a faulty foundation, or to your older homes where maybe the soil around the house has just been really, really dry because after all, it is Texas, it gets really hot. And then you start seeing these cracks, right? You start feeling kind of some unevenness in your floors, right? All of those are signs that you might need foundation repair, okay? Well, what does that have to do with what we're talking about today? Well, we've got to talk about the foundation of your career as a real estate professional. Now, I use the word career for so many reasons, okay? Speaking from experience, and this is my 15th year in the game, to really be successful in real estate, you have to go all in, you guys. You can't be kind of halfway. And what I find is some people that get their real estate license, maybe they're used to being a W-2 employee, working a job. They then shift that mindset to, okay, my job is a real estate agent. And to me personally, to really be successful, I really think that you have to have that mindset shift. So when we talk about the foundation of a home, okay, obviously that's different than the foundation of your career. There's two core kind of components of your career, the foundation of your career. Okay. This is from my experience. This is from, engaging with different agents day in and day out. And to me, to build a career on a firm foundation as a real estate agent or broker, two things are super important. Number one, mindset. We'll talk more about that in a minute. Number two, systems. Okay. So let's start with the mindset component. Okay. Now, gosh, if I'm honest, as I was prepping for today, I was thinking, oh, really, this could apply to so many different people's lives, but because I'm a broker, we're really diving into that. So mindset. I talked to you just moments ago about the mindset of having a job versus a career. Okay. Now, as a real estate agent, let's say, if you're looking at it as a job, you might be just waiting around for deals to fall into your lap. It just doesn't work like that, right? Versus if your mindset is, this is my career. I am a real estate professional. This is what I do. Looking at it as a career requires investment. It requires intentionality. It requires a plan. Okay. But again, this whole episode is about a foundation. So, we're almost halfway through 2025. And although a lot of people start reflecting on their life, their goals, and all of that at the beginning of the year, my first challenge to you is now is the time. Look at that now. Look at where you are now. What is the foundation that you're building on, right? And so what is that mindset that you currently have? Okay. Now, It is, I'm not going to say it's easy. Actually, I had to stop myself. It is possible to change your mindset. It absolutely is. If your experience is working a job, right, being a W 2 employee, and you're making that leap and you say, okay, Courtney, I want to change my mindset into a career. There's so many books, there's so many online resources, right? We're going to get to that, the systems component of a career. But I would say take a look at the career that you're coming from. Okay. If you're an OG that has been in the game for a long time, you too still need to look at your foundation, right? Because right now in the market, there's so much competition, right? You're competing on rates, you're competing on service, you're competing on against other people's experience. Other people may have more experience than you. You may have more experience in them. The competition is fierce, and to really play the game, to thrive as you play the game, and also enjoy it, you got to take a look at your mindset. Okay. For me personally, I try to posture myself always as the student. Okay. I may have a lot of experience in real estate. I am always learning every day. Right. So that's part of the mindset that I'm bringing into the season that I'm in right now, even in this podcast, like constantly learning how to deliver my message better, learning how to have better lighting, better setup, all of that good stuff. Learning the different nuances in different states. Lifelong learning is a mindset. Okay. So it's almost like something that my dad told me a long time ago when I was little. It's like, you have to be thinking about what you're thinking about, right? And does that serve the career in real estate that you're trying to build? Or does that distract you? Does that, is it productive or is it not productive? Only you can really decide what it actually serves you and where you're going to go. Okay. Now, the other thing that I want to talk about in terms of the foundation of your career as it relates to mindset is your why. What motivates you? I'm not going to lie. When I first entered this business, I was absolutely motivated by the dollar, right? You heard on season 1, you read the book, right? I had student loans to pay. So I was absolutely motivated by money. Now, that is not a bad thing, okay? If you're going to really last and thrive in this business, whether it's an up or down market, it does generally have to be more than just about the money. Okay. So my mindset about the money when I first started ended up evolving based on my experiences. And I ended up just really deeply caring for my clients. Right. I don't know if I told this on the podcast, maybe in a past season, it's been so long, but I'll give you an example. I had a contractor that worked with me many years ago, and he did great work. I basically built a bond with him and his family, and he was going to buy a property. And I said, look, I will not charge you anything. I just want to help you, right? You've been so loyal to me and my family and my businesses. Let me help you, okay? Do not sign anything until I get eyes on it, okay? He said, okay, Courtney, he was buying something off market. My point in sharing that story is that is really my why, helping people maximize the moment, right? Now it's evolved even more than just caring about my clients, which I absolutely do. I care about my agents. And I know some of my agents are actually watching this or listening to this. I really care. Like, I want them to be the best that they can be for their clients. But I also want them to feel really good about themselves as they show up, right? And know their stuff, know their contracts, all of those things. That's my why. I share all of this with you so that you can start thinking about, what is your why? What is your motivation, right? In addition to just being really committed to my agents, I think about my family. Like, I'm so committed to my family, making sure that I take care of them, making sure that I am my best self. Okay. So this is all about mindset. So as you, because this drops on a Tuesday, as you go into your week, I really want you to think about your mindset. What are you thinking about? What are you bringing into every interaction with your client, right? Every interaction with the lender or the title company. Because I said this in the last episode, it is a spicy time to be in real estate, okay? And I'll be honest, at every day of this season, right? There's a temptation to take on the energy of a disgruntled client, right? Take on the attitude. Yes, I'm rolling my neck as I record this. Take it on the attitude of somebody that may not be happy, right? Maybe they're mad at the world, okay? And we as real estate professionals have to be able to say, oh, wait a minute, that doesn't align with my mindset for my business, for my day, for my life. Okay? It's easier said than done. I will be totally honest with you. It also requires a high degree of intentionality. Again, monitoring what you're thinking about, asking yourself what you're thinking about. It's not to go totally churchy on you, but there is a scripture that talks about taking every thought captive. Like, I absolutely practice this every day. I'm like, hold up, where did that thought come from? I take that captive. I surrender it to Jesus Christ. Like, no, I'm not going in that direction. As a real estate professional, right? We have to make sure that we're monitoring our thoughts and making sure that we're operating with the mindset that we intend to, that we want to, instead of being swayed by clients, deals, or the world. Okay. Now, that even goes to agents right now. Let's say you have a really deep pipeline. It is easy to just kind of sit back and let that momentum carry you. Now, yes, there are times to do that, right? Typically, me personally, because I've built a lot of momentum in my career, I ride that momentum in the fall and the winter. But summertime, right now, this is coming out in summertime. Oh, it's grind time. Okay. And so there's nothing wrong with writing out that momentum, but there's going to be some really seasons of just abundance. And then there might be seasons where it's a little bit more sparse. So if you are in a season of abundance, still check your mindset, but also ask yourself, okay, how am I preparing for the season of where it's a little bit sparse or it's a little bit scarce, right? We know it's one big cycle. We know the market is seasonal. And so preparation is everything. As we're telling our clients to prepare for buying a house, right? To prepare for the summertime. Maybe you told your clients, hey, in February, you said, hey, make sure you get your ACs and your heating systems all checked in preparation for the summertime, right? That still matters to us as real estate professionals. Okay. The last piece of the mindset component of the foundation of your career has to do with asking yourself, how are you showing up? Okay. Now, outside of our clients, right? Life is happening. Life is happening, right? Your bills are due. Okay. Those deals might not be coming in or closing when you need or want them to. Let's keep it 100. Okay. Maybe there's drama in your family. Maybe there's drama in your personal life. Okay. When I talk about mindset, okay, and how you're looking at your career and taking your thoughts captive and monitoring what you're thinking about, you also have to think about how is life affecting how I show up? Okay. So, for example, I think this is the easiest one. And this is, again, I have to check myself on this because, maybe I wake up and I'm not having the best day and you're tempted to just throw on some sweatpants and a sweatshirt, right? It's like, wait a minute. Is that in alignment with what I am trying to grow in my business and also attract in my business? And so I think about how you dress as a real estate agent, right? It's easy to get comfortable, right? Even for my OGs, I'm pointing at the camera right now, but I promise, I mean it in love. If deals have been coming to you so easily, great, but that doesn't mean that we can slack on how we show up physically, right? The other thing is, how are we showing up emotionally and mentally? Mindset, right? So I think I said this in a past episode, but I'm going to repeat it because it's been a while. I can tell when I need a break. Okay. I can tell when I need a break because my fuse gets very short. And maybe somebody will ask me a question or whatever the case may be. And I was just, or describing a situation and I'm like, get to the point so I can give you this answer. Right. I don't like that mindset. I don't like that, the way that I think that other person on the other side of that conversation feels. So when I do feel kind of that way or that mindset creeping up, then I know, oh, you know what? This is a day where I probably don't need to take phone calls, right? And again, this is my career. A lot of you guys tuning in probably are contractors, right? It's your business. And even if you are an employee agent, it's still your business, right? You get to say, you know what? I'm going to not take calls today. I'm going to stick to email and text, right? Or maybe you don't have to go that drastic like I do sometimes. Maybe it's, I'm going to just pause. I'm going to go outside for a walk. I'm going to put my phone on D&D for an hour, woosah, and come back, right? That's essential for your mindset, right? We're going to talk a little bit about more systems. Excuse me. We're going to talk more about systems for achieving that. Okay. So kind of bring it all together in terms of mindset. Mindset is one of the pillars that you need. A healthy mindset. Okay. A positive mindset is a pillar that is essential to build a thriving, successful, prosperous career in real estate. Okay. Because it's going to get you through those seasons where the market is marketing. I'm just kidding. Where the market is not doing what you want it to do. It might be making it hard for sellers to sell or buyers to buy or something in between there, right? And that mindset's going to get you through it so that you're not mad at the world. You're not hating your family, right? And so that you're showing up your best self possible. Okay. Remember, because your clients, they don't need you to add to some of the things that they're thinking mindset wise or feelings that they're feeling if they're mad at the world. So that's the first pillar, mindset. Okay. The second pillar to building a long-lasting, prosperous career in real estate are systems. When I was prepping for this episode, I thought about a book that my dad gave me. Oh gosh, I probably wasn't even in my 20s yet, called the eMyth, the entrepreneur myth, right? I'll link it in the show notes. Gosh, I think it's Michael Gerber. Please don't quote me on that one. But I'll link it in the show notes. Fantastic book. Okay. And the core of what that book talks about is systems. And whether you're an employee or you are an entrepreneur or business owner, it's all about systems. Systems can make or break your company and your real estate business. Okay. And this is the one when I owned my own brokerage, when I owned my own management company. This was a foundational thing that my dad instilled in me, and that I now eat the fruit of my labors on systems. And so, what systems am I talking about? Okay, because this is not complicated. Believe it or not, you in your career right now, you have systems, right? If you are an agent or a broker, you have systems. And so I want to talk a little bit about what those systems are. And then I want to talk a little bit about just questions that you may want to ask yourself about if those systems are actually serving you. Okay. That sucks. My computer just, there it is. My computer just went to sleep on me. Okay. So when I talk about systems, and honestly, I think I'm going to do an episode for each type of these systems because I think it's so important. The first system at its foundation is a system for completing your CEs. Okay. Your continuing education. If you are a real estate agent or broker, you have continuing education requirements. Don't I know? I'm licensed in 15 states. Okay. And you have to have a system for completing those continuing education hours. Okay. Now, it's okay if you raise your hand here. I can't see you. Okay. If you are waiting till a month, if you are waiting a month before your license expires to do your CEs, is that you? Okay. You got to develop a system for your CEs. Okay. Now, why? First of all, it's going to make your life a lot easier. Okay. So you're not stressed when you get that email 30, 60, 90 days before your license expires. Okay. One of the things is your license is required for you to do business. Okay. If you don't renew it, you have no business. You can't get paid. Okay. And yes, I'm a little bit amped at this because it's so important. Like this is a fundamental thing of being a real estate professional. Okay. So we've got systems for continuing education. All right. This is not in an order of importance. Okay. I'm looking at my notes here. Okay. So another system for starting your days and ending your days. Okay. My agents hear this from me all the time when they talk about like their stressors, what's not working. One of my first questions is, what is your morning and evening routine? Okay. We will talk about systems for morning and evening routine. Okay. Sorry about that. My phone just went off. All right. So we'll talk about that. How you start your morning, how you end your day. Oh my gosh. It has a humongous impact on your mindset, guys. We're talking foundations to a successful career in real estate. So important. Okay. When we get to that episode, I'll share my morning and evening routines, guys. I won't gatekeep. Okay. Because they have served me well. And I'm not talking about like this rigid thing I do every day, nothing like that, right? There is some flexibility and adaptability, but literally I have people all the time saying, girl, you don't sleep, right? How do you get all of these things done? Morning and evening routine. How about that? And of course, prioritization and time management. So we'll get into that in another episode. All right. We're talking about systems. Another system for generating leads. Okay. If you are a real estate agent or broker right now listening to this, you'd probably rank this as number one. Okay. Fun fact, when I first got my real estate license, okay, my dad was my broker. And he said, okay, kid, you got your license. Go be great. He was not, although some people may think he was feeding me all kinds of leads. Absolutely not. And I love you, Dad, right? I actually love the fact that I got, that he threw me in there so that I actually was forced to develop my own systems. Okay. So we're going to talk about systems for generating leads. This is probably one of the most costly things for agents and brokers, and the most time consuming things. Okay. Now, it doesn't have to be time consuming. We're going to talk about that in a future episode, but lead generation is essential. No leads, no closed deals, right? No closed deals, no money. Okay. So again, it goes back to your why, right? It goes back to your why. All right. We're cooking here. Okay. Now we've got systems for your CEs. We've got systems for your morning and evening routines, starting and ending your day. We've got systems for lead generation. Okay. The fourth thing I'll highlight is systems for nurturing your leads. Okay. What does that look like? Right? Are you using social media? Like, do you have what is it called? I'm drawing a blank. Do you have a monthly newsletter? Right? How are you engaging and interacting with all of those people that you've closed over the last 1 to 10 years? Right? Systems. We're going to talk about the systems that really work for me in terms of lead nurturing and really relationship building. That's really probably what I should have titled it. All right, we've got 2 more. Okay. I think I was on number 4. So the 5th type of system that we're going to talk about next, but I'll kind of touch on it right now, is systems for efficiency. Okay. What I mean by that are, all right, what systems have you developed to draft your contracts, to draft your listing agreements, right? What systems have you developed to keep a deal on track once you're under contract? Oh gosh, what systems do you have post-closing? Okay. Finding the home is as important as nurturing that customer, continuing to build on the relationship that you've already developed after closing, right? Because remember, they know people. Okay. That's crucial to develop a thriving career in real estate. Okay. And then last but not least, and this is one of my faves. Okay. Earlier, I talked to you about the mindset and how we should monitor what we're thinking about, how we're showing up. Right. And I know when my fuse is short, right? I try not to let it get to that point because I have a system for re-energizing. How about that? Okay. What is your system for re-energizing? What re-energizes you? Okay. And you guys, I don't mean going to the south of France for a week. I mean ongoing efforts to re-energize you. Okay. Because one thing that you don't want to do, take it from my experience, is run yourself into the ground, right? You take that week off, right? You unplug, you feel re-energized, but you actually need longer than a week because you haven't self-cared during that time before that. Okay. So systems for re-energizing. It's as simple as this, you guys. We'll do an episode on this. It's as simple as making a list of what things give you energy, right? For me, it's not travel. Okay. Vacation, yeah, right. But travel is not re-energizing when it comes to like going through the airport and pre-check and all of that good stuff, right? Airplanes, all of that. But it's the simple things. It's your morning walk, right? It's going to the gym. It's going out to sunbathe. I did that today before recording, right? What things re-energize you? That is so important, okay? For your mindset, but think about it. Re-energizing and developing a system to do that is actually crucial for you to work your other systems that we just talked about. Okay. So to sum it all up, you guys, developing a market-proof career, you saw that in the last episode, or a thriving career and for thriving legacy. Let's face it, right? That's some of our motivations as well. It's not hard. Okay. It's actually quite simple, but you got to have the mindset and you've got to develop the systems to do that. We're going to dive into every single system that we talked about here in upcoming episodes. And I'll finish with this. This is an important topic for me because in the last episode, I talked about that National Association of Realtors stat that says over 40% of agents got licensed within the last 5 years. Right now, as the market's a little bit tough, it's a little bit more competition. We talked about interest rates are higher than normal, in air quotes, if you're listening. It makes it so that we actually have to work probably 3 times harder for every deal than we've ever had to, right? And so that could be exhausting if you don't have the right foundation, okay? The right mindset and the right systems, okay? And if you're one of those people that has gotten licensed within the last 5 years and you're struggling right now, the time is now to look at these foundational pillars, because it could be a matter of you exiting the game or uh, amping it up, closing more deals, and really building the career that you've always envisioned. Okay. Now, I only want what God has for you in your life. Okay. Because we don't want to kick against the goad. So if you are the person that I just talked about and you're contemplating like, man, maybe real estate isn't for me, right? Think about the things that we just talked about in this episode and take it to prayer, right? Because God wrote every day of your life before anyone took shape. So I hope this was, I hope this made you think, right? I almost said something different. I hope this really made you think and makes you think as you continue throughout this week, right? Because these are things that I'm constantly monitoring for myself personally and having to adjust those systems because maybe in this season, this isn't working for me. Having to adjust my mindset because the season requires it. Okay. So I'm only talking about the things that I actually live by and operate in on a daily basis. I hope this is encouraging to you. Drop me a comment. Drop me a comment about what are you evaluating as it relates to your mindset, or what systems do you need to actually implement in your career as a real estate agent or broker? Okay. And if you're not an agent or broker, same questions apply, but in whatever field you're in. All right, guys, that's the end of this episode. I try to keep it to under 30 minutes. We're just over that. I hope you have a fantastic rest of the week. We'll see you next time on another episode of Millennial versus Machine. Take care. Bye.